Hello, it's a beautiful day. Welcome back to the homestead. If you're new here, my name is Melissa, and my family and I live on a 5-acre homestead in Wisconsin. And right now, it is the end of our growing season. It is the end of September, and we have just had a couple. Ooh, my stand. Okay, okay, I think you're good there. I think you might be a little wobbly from the wind, but in a minute, we'll be going inside the greenhouse, so it won't be so bad. But yeah, it is the end of September, and we just had our first couple of frosts of the last couple of nights, so that signals the end of the growing season here, or at least uh, towards the end. There's some things that are still good to go even in the after frost, like all of our broccoli and brassicas, those things, kale, that lasts forever, I swear. But anyways, so we're at the end of the growing season, and this year, for the first time, we have a greenhouse or a hoop house, whatever you want to call it. So this we got in May, and it was a really last minute find on Buy Sell Trade, and I just took a leap of faith and decided we're going to do this. So we went and bought it, set it up, and now the results. Will I do this again? What I have in here is tomatoes, cucumbers, and peppers. That's what I grew in my hoop house this year. And it is a 50-foot long, 14 feet high. So we also have, so there's right here is the, whoop, right there is the fan, kicks on when it gets to a certain temperature. We have a thermostat inside that we can set. And then the door here, and then on the other side, there's also a, the same, like wooden end, and it has a door as well. Those doors were kept open pretty much the entire summer, and then the sides were rolled up, 4 feet, 3 feet, all summer long, pretty much. And yeah, so let's take you inside and see how it looks now. And remember, it is the end of the season, so some things you're gonna go, "Ooh, that doesn't look so good." Yeah, well, it is the end of the season, and then we'll go over whether we're gonna grow our tomatoes like this again or not. Okay, here we go. Well, you can see the corn's done. It's been done for a while. The zinnias, oops, the zinnias are dying. But here we go into the greenhouse. Oh goodness, I keep kicking the stand. I'm sorry. Look at this. Now, remember, end of season. They're done. That's cucumbers. I got to get those out. We did have a problem with something with cucumbers. I'll go over in a minute, but this is what it looks like. Before we get to talking about whether we're going to do this or not again, what we liked, what we didn't like, all that stuff, I need to prune. Can you tell? It's kind of a little bit out of hand. So first, I'm going to get to pruning. All right, guys, I'm back, and new plan of attack. I'm just going to video what about the greenhouse itself, because I did an entire row, and then I've done part of the middle row, which is like a quarter of a row, and then I realized, well, and I had to like do chores in there and deal with kid stuff and all that stuff, and this row needed a lot of attention. I had gotten to this a few weeks ago. This is what's grown in just a few weeks. It looked bare like that, but I had never gotten to this side, so this was a pretty big jungle. Anyway, so I'm like, oh my goodness, the sun is starting to go down already, and I better get this filmed. I don't think I'm going to get this fully done today because I got other stuff to do. I got to go make dinner, right? This family needs to eat. And anyway, so I figured I'll just film. So, what did we do differently this year? Well, the greenhouse itself, totally different. Never have done this before. Complete fly by the seat of my pants. I had been researching and I knew what I wanted to do, but I wasn't planning on doing it this year. And so it was wonderful when we were able to, but we just kind of like quickly threw it together. Okay, so they each, let me go down here and just don't mind everything I pruned off. But oh, this one I accidentally cut today. Whoopsies, but that's still good. Okay, here's a good one. Here I can show you. So we have this string that runs all the way up the plant, all the way up to that post, that one right there, or the runner thing up there. There's a word for that. I can't think of it. And then it goes all the way down. So it zigzags. It's connected at the bottom of the first one, just at the stem, and it zigzags all the way down. And they each have their own string. Okay, and this is just like I don't even know. It's not even that thick of a string. It's not going to focus on this, but it's something. My husband does concrete work, something like concrete. I don't know. Very, very, very strong string. And then we use these clips that you just clip it up as it grows. This side clips onto the string. This side just clips around the plant, and that's how it is. And oh my goodness, what a game changer. Never, ever again will I ever do cages. This is so much better. And then, of course, as you can see, we do very, very high pruning. We prune these guys to practically nothing, right? We take off all the suckers, which let me show you on another one over here that I have to prune. Let me show you what will be taken off. So we take off all these suckers that grow here. They grow in the, where a branch was coming out. And this is the main stem. And there's this sucker. Take that out. And then we will take off any, like this will go, a lot of the, just the leaf branches, not the ones that have fruit on them. Okay, if that makes sense. So then they end up very bare. But like I said, that's what these guys looked like just a couple weeks ago. And then they grow like wildfire. So by doing that, it allows the plant to pull up all the nutrients into and like put everything to the fruit, to the tomato, instead of giving all the energy or dividing the energy between all the leaves. There's extra leaves. Obviously we have some leaves on there, of course we need to. But if you have all these leaves and all these suckers, which suckers will turn into another producing branch, that's a lot of energy that has to be divided up between the plants. It only has so much that it can give, right? So, it can only do so much. So by doing this, it allows the plant to grow really tall, grows up, and it allows it to really produce nice big fruit. I will walk and I will look. I have some of the most gigantic tomatoes I've ever seen in my entire life this year. It's insane. It's just crazy. I will never do these. I haven't even said it, but I won't ever grow tomatoes another way. Let's see if we can find a giant one in this jungle. Clearly okay, so I did slack clearly on doing pruning all the time, but that's just because I have a life outside of my hoop house and kids and homeschool and animals and all that, and it just got away from me. Okay, here we go. Here are some tomatoes. This is a paste tomato that is the size of my hand. Just massive. And it's like, yeah, that one's got a little bit of a split, but that's fine. It'll be fine. Just humongous tomatoes. Huge. Just gigantic. Here's a whole pile of them back there. I clearly have to pick tomatoes today. On the list of things to do that's never ending. Okay. So that's how we grew the tomatoes. We trellis them. Oh, there's a leaf in the eye. Now, while I climb through my jungle of tomatoes, I will tell you that one thing that we are planning on doing differently is planting the tomatoes closer to the wall. They are probably a good 18 inches away from the wall, 20 inches maybe. And when you trellis them and they have to angle to that pole, they get into the aisle. And we're thinking if we have them closer to the wall, then it won't be as bad. We could, instead of doing 4 rows, we could do 3, but that lessens the yield. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm still young and agile for the most part, so I can meander through there. So there, I can't do this. Ooh, nope, can't figure it out. And so, yeah, tomatoes, wonderful, huge, huge yields. I can't even tell you. And they are absolutely solid green tomatoes still. They're growing like crazy. In fact, so this is 14 feet high, and there's ones back there that are up and over and down another 4 feet. So they're a good 18 feet tall. They are insane. Oh my gosh. Cucumbers. Okay, they're dead. They nothing to see here but dead leaves. But if you had been here a few months ago, you would have seen beautiful cucumbers climbing up the same trellis system and did the same thing. I pruned those as well, and they did fabulous. We had insane amounts. Insane. Everything's insane. Just huge amounts of cucumbers. So many cucumbers. It was glorious, just glorious, except my like canning cucumbers. I lost a few. The dog ran through here, puppy ran through here once and pulled some out on accident. And yeah, I ended up only having one canning cucumber plant take off, and so it was kind of a bummer, but still they were so good. And they did excellent, but then the squash beetles came and destroyed them. Oh, the squash beetles. They annihilated my zucchini this year and my summer squash. Oh, it's still in there. And then once they were done with those, they came and took care of the cucumbers. Luckily, it was the end of the season. We were already just about done anyways. So next year I am waging war on squash bugs, and I will figure out the best way to keep them away. And if you have any great ideas, organic, can't use anything like pesticides. We have bees, and bees love squash flowers. So especially with squash, we can't use anything, uh, you know, pesticide that would kill the bees. But yeah, if you have any great tips, please leave them in the comments below, because I am on a mission to take care of squash beetles and not have that awful amount. It was just disgusting. Okay, and then we also have uh, peppers, tons of peppers. We have I don't even know how many peppers. I can't remember. A lot of peppers. And they did fabulous. In fact, they got so big that I had to stake them and use the clips on them because they were just getting so heavy. In fact, they are still growing. So, like here, I have a giant green, whatever that is, pepper. But look over here. These guys are still growing. This is probably 2.5 feet tall, and we've got flowers on them. They love this weather. Or love the heat in here. And yeah, I have them going all the way down. Now I did plant two different. I did like an early, like when I started them, I had some that I started early and planted, and then some that I started a little later. And the earlier ones did do a lot better. So I will probably only do early ones, or not. It's not like an early variety. I'm just saying I won't, like I staggered, that's the word. I staggered my plantings, and I won't do that. I'll just do one planting, I think, next year. Okay. I just was distracted by kids. I don't remember what I was talking about. Story of my life, right? So we planted everything in landscape fabric. We have it's like 30 inches, and then just cut holes, and underneath we have soaker hose. So there's 4 rows of soaker hose. I'll show you here how that was set up. And then in between the rows, we just put a bunch of straw. So we still had weeds, but way less, like way less. So that's the way to go. You don't have to deal with weeds. And they also, these varieties, all 3, I chose these 3 to go in here because they all love heat. They all love the humidity, and they all love being they don't like being top watered. Okay, so they like soaking it up from the ground. top watering, having water on the leaves causes mildew and disease issues and stuff like that. So that's one of the reasons that we do the heavy pruning, is to mitigate diseases, a lot of airflow and stuff like that, along with it just makes the plant a lot stronger. And then the watering below, it also helps. It is a lot less wasteful, and they don't have as many diseases, aren't susceptible as many diseases and fungus and all that good stuff. And then for watering, we set up this cool watering thing that's full of cobwebs now, and each has a hose that goes to each row. And then I've got under here, can you see it? Where is it? Under here, there's just a soaker hose. So every single row has a soaker hose, and we can control each row from the dials here. And then we just pull a hose in from the corner there, connect it, turn it on. Worked fabulously. Only one time did my husband turn it on and forget about it and leave it all night long. And I was so worried that they were going to it was going to split everything. And it didn't. We had a little bit of splitting issues, but it wasn't bad. But it's a world of difference doing it watering via groundwater versus on top. Okay, so I think you know the answer, right? I'm doing this again. I'm doing this next year. This was great. It was a great first year. I've learned a lot. There's things I will do differently. We also did have what are they called? A little tiny bug. Aphids. Aphids. So we did have aphids, a little bit of an issue there, but we dealt with them. That was not that hard. We've never had that problem before. But again, I think it was just in the conditions in here, we're prime for aphids. And we did have a lot of real ladybugs. We have a lot of actual ladybugs around here. And those were in here. Those helped with the aphids too. And I planted flowers outside to help with the pollinators, getting them in here, but we didn't have any issues. The pollinators came in, they did their job. That was great. So all in all, I will do this again. I will never go back to caged tomatoes and all that jazz. So this was wonderful. If you have any other questions, I don't know. I think I covered everything. Oh, shade cloth. We did have to put up a shade cloth because this side, south facing, it got really, really, really hot and they were starting to burn up. A shade cloth was necessary. It worked great. And oh, we have gates along the side. You probably can see better here. There it is. When we rolled up the sides, chickens figured out they could come in and yeah, put those gates up, fixed that problem. Anyway, I think I've covered everything. I think. If there's anything I didn't cover, if you have any questions, just please feel free to leave them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. I am new to this too, so I might not have all the answers, but I can at least give you my experience and maybe help find answers. Otherwise, yeah, I'm going to get back to, well, actually, I'm going to go in the house and finish up dinner and then hopefully come out here and finish pruning and picking and, make pasta sauce, all the things that have to happen on the homestead. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time.